this is all leading to the Survivor Series. It's going to probably be Roman, Cody, maybe Jey Uso, and one or two other people against the Bloodline. That's got to be what they're planning here.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Time Machine. I'm your host, Mac Davis, along with WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and of course, pro wrestling journalist Mr. Bill Apter. How you guys doing?
Hey, great. Look, glad to be here.
We're all pointing. In case you're wondering what's going on, we're all pointing at each other. So
that's it.
Oh, so now you're trying to belittle our fans. Now they don't know what pointing means. Okay, wow, that's just like something you would do.
Now look,
in case y'all don't know, they're pointing at each other. They can see us pointing. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Teddy. Shh. Hold on, Miss Daisy.
Every week.
For those of us, wait a minute, Bill. Wait a minute. I feel like I'm having to have a fight here, guys. For those who don't get to view us, can only hear us on the podcast. That's what we're doing. That's why I'm describing it.
Well, why would somebody be looking at us and they can't hear us?
Well,
that's right. You can't hear me.
I give up.
You can't hear me.
All right, guys, I want to bring something up.
Wait, before you go there.
Go ahead.
Since we are the time machine, every week I try and find something back in time. And I was going through I found my press credentials to the original Brian Pillman Memorial event that Les Thatcher ran down in Knoxville, Tennessee. Is that cool?
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that is cool. I've got a few of those things hanging around in my office here and there.
Teddy, did you know Brian pretty well?
Brother, me and Brian rode together. We traveled together. I knew him real well. He's the one kind of turned. Well, I was already liking sushi, but he kind of turned me out a little bit more. And we used to, when we were in Orlando, him and I used to go eat sushi all the time.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Well, I know you didn't know it.
Matt's getting emotional. He's taking off his glasses and crying a little bit.
You have any road stories with Brian you can share, Teddy?
No, not really. He was just a good traveling partner. Brian, basically, when we got to our hotels, he would always just go to his room and I would go to mine. We'd go out and eat dinner and stuff, and that was about it. But he was just a tremendous guy, man. Nice personality, great attitude, and was great fun to work with.
He looked like he was super creative.
Yes, yeah. And his son has been trying to make it in NXT and the Indies and all that, and there's just something that isn't working at this point.
All right, guys, I want to bring up something.
You know what might work for him, you know what I mean? And I understand where you're coming from too, Bill. You know, like I said, he's been a lot of places and, you know, they just hadn't found his niche yet. But, you know, I don't know whether, you know, they've used this and they've done it in the past, you know what I mean? If I was him, I'd maybe start just turn heel and just come out and start cutting heel promos. You know, the reason I'm not making it is because everybody wants me to be like my dad. Well, I don't want to, you know what I mean? But I want to be my own man. I want to show people I can do it. I don't need to live off of my dad's fame, you know, that kind of stuff.
And that would be pulling from reality, too, because he's facing every bit of that. So, yeah, that would be a really good move to make. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You think you know all the wrestling stories? There's more you haven't heard yet. Join us on Backstage Pass.
I want to talk about birthdays. Let's talk about some numbers. Just recently here, we had a couple of birthdays I want to mention. One being Teddy Long right here with us, the Hall of Famer. You turned 77, is that right, Teddy, or 76?
77.
77 years old. I want to tell you happy birthday, and because it's hard to have missed it because everybody on social media was putting up these little video clips and different things with Teddy and stuff, and I thought it was fantastic. But Teddy, I wanted to tell you happy birthday. I know I called you up actually that day and sang to you in the first part. Sorry.
Yeah, that was just horrible. I mean, just horrible.
I don't want to hear 77 Sunset Strip. All right, anyway.
That's more horrible.
I want to talk about one more person who's having a birthday as well recently, and that's Jim Cornette. We never really talk about Jim on this show, not too often. He never really comes up in our conversations. But I'm curious, Bill, any stories you can tell about you and Jim Cornette? Because there's got to be tons of them.
Yes, I've known Jim Cornette. He was a photographer that shot a lot of the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler matches for us. Well, lots of stories, but I'll tell you two things. When my book came out, Is Wrestling Fixed?
I didn't know it was broken.
Thank you. He was quoted as saying, Bill Apter's book sucks because he doesn't bury anybody. That was his quote. In Puerto Rico, Eddie Gilbert and it was the Fabulous Ones that he was managing, and Eddie Gilbert and somebody else were the opponents. And Cornette decided that as Gilbert was coming at him around ringside, I was shooting pictures, and Cornette grabbed me and used me as a hostage there. So Eddie Gilbert, and then he pushed me aside and hit Gilbert with the tennis racket.
Teddy, any stories with Jim you can share? I would imagine the early days of the NWA and WCW, you probably crossed paths quite a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, we worked together. Doom worked with the Midnight Express, all those guys. Yeah, no hard stories. The one thing, the saying back in the day when the people start calling me Peanut Head, Jim Cornette started that. But me and Jim was sitting around the ring, and we was trying to figure out something. He says, "Damn, we need to get something to call you, to try to get some heat." And I told him, I said, "Hey, when I was a little boy, my nickname was Peanut." And so Cornette said, "Yeah, that's it." And so Cornette is the started the Peanut Head.
He had natural heat with the fans. I mean, the fans just naturally hated. He didn't even have to open his mouth. They hated him.
Well, when you got it, you got it. That's just like Vicky Guerrero. She couldn't even do her promo. They wouldn't even let her talk.
Excuse me.
Yeah. And I had a chance to see her this past Friday night on SmackDown. She was there and still looking great, and just happy to see Vicky.
Hey, look here, you were at SmackDown. Did you get a chance to see your baby's mama while you were there?
Nah, what do you mean did I get a chance to see her? I run right up to her, got the biggest hug I could get.
I bet.
And as soon as I put my arms around her, I act just like I had that Gorilla Glue. I couldn't get away.
She had to call security to get him off of her.
I got a chance to talk to Naya and also with Bianca and Jade. Golly, man, they look so great, man. There's a lot of money in them, and they're just outstanding, man.
But did you have a chance to meet Tiffany Stratton? Do you know?
I did. Naya introduced me to her because when I walked up and talked to Naya, she was standing there talking to Naya.
Is Tiffany she looks pretty impressive on TV, so she looks like she can handle herself very well.
Well, yeah. What are you asking me? Like I'm looking like did she have clothes on or what? What are you asking me?
What I can say was Teddy was with Nia Jax. And after that, Teddy was Jack. So,
of course.
No, but Tiffany has got she's got a great womanly body, but she's also pretty cut, isn't she, Teddy?
Yes.
Yeah.
She looks like somebody who could be a champion. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. She has an intimidating look about her while still being a beautiful woman at the same time.
And then the other thing, too, since we're talking about, I looked at some of last night's show, and I really thought that the Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, is that who he is?
Yes.
I thought that was very good. It was very well put together. It took me back to the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? That's the stuff we need right now. You got to, make it believable. And those two guys took a hell of a beating last night, but they made it real. They did a hell of a job, and I thought that was really good.
Even the spot with Bronson Reed where he grabbed a fan from the audience and threw the fan at Braun Strowman. That was something that I have never seen that done before, and I thought it was perfect for that match.
Well, that fan was probably a plan.
Oh yeah. But still, you just never see that.
But you don't. But you know what I mean. That's like you said. That's brand new.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was brand new. I try to look at him to my DVR afterwards to see who it was, and I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I kept wanting to see the full pickup, and they kind of gave you right as he already had him and kind of was throwing him. I wanted to see him reach in the audience and just pick him up and chunk him because it looked so good. What they showed on TV was well done.
But I agree with you, Teddy. What this has become from the thing where Bronson Reed went up on that ledge outside a few weeks ago and dove off onto him. But this is an excellent feud of two super heavyweights, and I'm looking to see when he threw Strowman through the wall there.
Yeah.
Of course, I thought of Tugboat, the Shockmaster, right away. But wow, that was that was really, really, really well done.
You're right, man. That was really done well. Congratulations on that.
That was real wrestling.
Yes.
Thank you.
Another match that took place on SmackDown was Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming up on and getting together. Teddy, you were there that night when they teamed up. What was the fan reaction there? Well, I mean, because it sounded like they were just eating this up.
Well, I mean, the fans were really hot there in Seattle. I mean, they were really live. So that basically the reaction there was maybe, now maybe this is kind of what we want. And then again, I could hear, well, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out.
Bill, what was your impression of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming up?
I think it was very well done. I talked to Jerry the King Lawler last week, which will run here on WrestleBinge, and I asked him about Roman Reigns, that the fans are now cheering him, that he's now what we used to call in the magazines a fan favorite. And I said, what do you think? He says, well, right now, the angle they're putting him in, he's a fan favorite. It's like when Jerry Lawler, beat up a couple of heels, he became a fan favorite from being a heel. But as soon as he needed to become a heel again to, get his game going again, he became a heel and they were booing the hell out of him. And he says that's probably what's going to happen with Roman Reigns too.
Yeah, in fact, Bill, you and I think we were texting during that show, if I'm not mistaken, and
we were.
I had made a comment that Roman is going to have to get through that brief babyface return run before he turns on Cody. Make the fans love him and then make the fans hate him for doing something wrong to Cody.
No, it's nothing with you. People say he turned on but he didn't turn him on. He turned against him.
Yep.
I always say that.
Well, you know what? I would reverse that. I would be giving the people what they're not expecting. I'd have Cody turn.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking needs to happen. I have nothing against Cody whatsoever. I love some of the stuff that Cody has done, but I said this on the last show. I feel like he's kind of lost in the mid card right now because they're not really. There wasn't a story pushing him the way that it's been pushed on other people. Almost like they kind of had him on hold. And I'm starting to wonder where we're going to go with Cody and Roman, because the question will be, who do you want to see at WrestleMania? Do you want to see Cody versus The Rock, or do you want to see Rock versus Roman?
I'll tell you what's going to happen, in my opinion. This is all leading to the Survivor Series. It's going to probably be Roman, Cody, maybe Jey Uso, and one or two other people against the Bloodline. That's got to be what they're planning here. So they're not going to look at WrestleMania. This is Survivor Series planning in the works here. But I think Cody, what's his nickname?
Crybaby?
No, Cody Rhodes I'm talking about.
What about him?
The American Nightmare.
Oh, the American Nightmare, yeah.
Right, his nickname.
That's not that wouldn't be his nickname, Bill. That would be his handle.
Well, I'm not a CB guy.
Right,
anyway, he's known as the American Nightmare, and I think he will, down the line somewhere, change into that nightmare. Right now, he's still kind of an American dream.
Okay, but you didn't answer the question, though. The question was,
debate?
At WrestleMania, do you want to see Roman versus Rock, or Roman versus or Cody versus Rock? Which one would you rather see?
No, well, at that point, depending upon how hot everything is, it's got to be The Rock against Roman Reigns. I think that's the money match. I think Cody, yes.
I agree with that.
But I think if they're planning on Rock coming, actually, where I'm going with this, I don't know if they want to see Roman or Cody against The Rock. I think they might want to see John Cena against The Rock, because that's part of his plans for next year, is to be high profile at WrestleMania.
I just don't know, Teddy. You think the fans could wait through another WrestleMania without getting Roman and Rock?
I mean, they got no choice. That's what the higher ups plan to do. Then the fans just have to wait on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't see John Cena in that spot. I just don't.
Maybe not in that
I
spot,
hope
but he's going to play a large part in WrestleMania.
I hope not.
Yeah,
Why?
I agree.
Why?
Well, I don't want to see him in a high-profile match with The Rock, especially when I'd rather see somebody else with The Rock.
No, not with The Rock, but I'm talking about in a high-profile match, because that's, if this is his swan song, which I don't think it will be, wouldn't you want to see him high up on the card, Teddy?
Well, I don't know. I haven't really seen, since he's come back these past several times, I just haven't seen really enough of him to really, know which way I want to go with him. I don't know whether you're going to be here or whether you're going to leave. You know what I mean? He's so unpredictable right now. He's undetermined. So I don't know which way to go.
Well, they said that he's going to start in January at the Royal Rumble.
That's what they say.
Right. Well, this is where they've locked him into, and then he's going to be high profile, and it's going to lead up to whatever he's going to do at WrestleMania before he decides that that's his last ring appearance. So that's why
I will say this, and I'm just from a fan perspective, my own perspective, I guess. I don't want to see John Cena and The Rock in the ring at WrestleMania or any major match. I just, that doesn't do it for me anymore. I think John, if he's going to go out his last year, he needs to help put the young talent over, which he doesn't seem to have a problem to do. Put the young talent over, but go in the ring with somebody you may have had a history with in the past, be an attraction match at WrestleMania, not one of the major main events.
Who is that though, Mac? If right now The Rock, John Cena is coming back in a legendary match against somebody at WrestleMania, who would you look at?
That's hard for me to say because God, I'm going to sound like a hater, and I'm not a hater. I'm just not a big John Cena fan, so I don't really know who I'd care to see him in the ring with. That's nothing against John. I mean, John's a hell of a champion, was a champion, but it's just not my cup of tea when it comes to wrestling. He never has been.
Okay. Teddy, do you have any idea who you'd like to see him against at WrestleMania if it was like a high-profile match?
Well, I would like to see The Rock and Roman. And the reason I would go with that because there's blood there, there's relation there, that's real, that's family. You know what I mean? So that's the way I would go.
No, I'm saying who would you like to see Cena against in his final match at WrestleMania? I know it's hard.
Well, I read something the other day where Taker said he is preparing himself for one more match, maybe John Cena and Undertaker.
Maybe. I think that Austin Theory would be a hell of a match for him because he's like a young John Cena with the whole attitude and everything.
But they've done that before. Just a couple of years ago, John Cena and Austin Theory had a match at WrestleMania, and it was not good.
I remember, but Austin Theory's a different guy now. He's a trained wrestler now. Just my opinion.